In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
People don't know we actually have a guy in the room that does that record scratching sound.
Every time.
We pay him specifically. We keep him off mic. Yeah, don't even talk. But that's only his job. He's known to do that.
And we pay him pretty handsomely, too.
He charges a lot.
Well, he does.
Yeah, but
he's not cheap.
But
he literally has the whole DJ setup right in front
But he's
of
the
us.
best at what he does.
He's great.
He does
There's
it for
no one better who scratches than him.
When you hear a movie scratch in a movie, you're most likely hearing it from our guy right now. We're not going to say his name. He doesn't like being disclosed.
Gosh, when we hire people, we hire the best of the best.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, we have to.
No one
to
different.
get that same consistent record scratching every single time.
I mean,
you have to have a guy who
it's identical,
knows.
almost. Yeah.
Almost, yeah. But if you're really,
You're really in tune
you have
to
a keen
the
ear.
DJ scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
If you're no scrub behind the booth, then I think you could hear the subtle differences.
Right.
Like all good artists have, you know.
That's very good. Perfect.
Yeah. But Mason, we made it. We're
We
here.
did. We're alive.
We for a long time we have hyped this movie.
For many moons we have.
We have talked about this movie. We've kind of been obsessed with this movie, as I think the world has, right?
I don't remember so much hype behind, especially a director who's only made one other movie.
Yes.
So much hype for the next movie coming out.
Oh, exactly.
I don't think there ever has been. Really.
And let's be honest, there's something in Hollywood called a sophomore slum, and that's
a real thing.
And that's a real thing. That's
a
when
very
directors
real
come out and make a very good movie. Because if you make, and it's got to be, let's just say we're here to talk about us,
Yes,
Jordan
us,
Peele. So
Jordan
the director
Peele's.
we're talking about is Jordan Peele. But it's got to be kind of scary, right? When you make an amazing movie, and then you have to go make another one, and everyone is expecting you to make another masterpiece.
Exactly.
So I could see how that sophomore slum is a real thing, and how it could really happen. Because
imagine the stress, the pressure.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Dude, it's great that you made a fantastic movie, but then you got to do it again.
in my mind, I think you'd almost be hoping it to bomb. So people's expectations
aren't
so your next
yeah.
one you can just. But now, I mean, yeah. So the movie we're talking about is Us. Jordan Peele. It's been
in
long
the short
awaited.
Of it, if he's batting, he's 2 for 2. You know what I'm saying?
I
He's
would say
batting
so,
1,000
yeah.
so far,
But he really has cast a spell over America or the world right now. I mean, everything he touches turns to gold.
gold. Yeah,
People are waiting for everything he does, and now
I cannot wait for it.
Now he's doing Twilight Zone, and it's crazy.
And that releases April 1st, I want to say, on CBS All Access.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's April.
people are comparing him to Hitchcock a lot, but after seeing this movie, I think he's in a realm of his own.
I agree
honestly,
with that.
I mean, Hitchcock is fucking amazing, but I think what Jordan Peele's doing, it's on, I don't want to say another level, but he's in his own class, I think.
Right.
Where you can't really compare him right now to anyone else.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, he kind of, like, and we'll jump into it later, but just to kind of, give a brief overview. For me, he kind of put in multiple horror film genres into one movie with this. Because you thought originally it was going to be like a home invasion.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, we need to talk about that.
And then that was over in like 10 minutes, and you're like, whoa, okay. And
Exactly,
then it was
yeah.
kind of like different phases of this movie throughout.
Which is what I love.
It's
so original.
Then it jumps into a
it's
psychological
so original
thriller, a chase. Yeah, it's
well,
just
now,
crazy.
now we know to just expect unexpected.
Right.
There's no way now. I mean, now after 2 films with Get Out was totally unexpected.
Yes.
I mean, I had to what it was with them controlling, putting their like conscience in other people to make them live forever. Never. But with this one, exactly, it was built up to be just a home invasion movie that maybe had some kind of twist where maybe it was, which was kind of implied, but it's that home invasion.
Based on the previews, that's what I had thought it was too.
Yeah.
It was primarily just a home invasion.
That home
movie.
invasion part maybe lasts 15 minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, by the time the doppelganger family gets there, to when they're inside the house was not even 5 minutes, and then you had obviously the story.
Yeah.
Of Red, and then that was it, dude.
And it was smart. It was almost self-aware where even one part later, the dad, he's talking about how maybe they should do like Home Alone traps and stuff like that.
When they went over to the neighbor's house.
And she immediately, and the Lupita Nyong'o immediately said, "Oh no, that's just stupid." Which exactly, I mean, it's right. I hate in home invasion movies. I always say, just run, just get out and never stop running. Literally, if I hear a creak in my house, I'm gone.
I'm out the door. Which is unfortunate for me because I'm in a basement, so I hear a lot of creaks.
I got insurance on that house. I have nothing invested in that. I mean, more than my life. So I mean, I'm out of there.
Right?
I'm not sticking
Understandable.
around. I'm not
judging you for it.
Yeah, I got pride or whatever. I don't need it.
No.
I gotta stick around. I can't be killed. But let me tell you the premise of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get into it. Husband and wife Gabe and Adelaide Wilson take their children to their beach house hoping to spend time with friends. Their serenity soon turns to tension and chaos when a group of evil strangers who look exactly alike them arrive. It's written, directed, and produced, I think, by Jordan Peele. It stars Lupita Nyong'o, whose name could give some people trouble. John Travolta had a tough time.
This is why you're on the podcast.
John Travolta
I have a hard time with pronouncing names too.
But man, is she fucking amazing in this.
She's great.
She carries.
She really is
she
great.
steals. One, she's beautiful. She has this crazy, really unique look. But she's Adelaide Wilson / Red, and it also stars Winston Duke, who plays her husband, Gabriel, or Gabe, who's also amazing in this, I thought. I'm gonna get
and he's let's not just throw away. I mean, he's M'Baku too from from Avengers or from Black Panther, but also
Black
Avengers
Panther.
as well. Yeah.
I forgot. He's doing some hits.
He is, man. Yeah.
But also stars Shahadi Wright Joseph as Zora Wilson, the daughter, and it stars Evan Alex as Jason Williams / Pluto.
You did a fantastic job on those.
Good
job. Good work.
Yeah. But
like the John Anika movies.
Yes, I am pretty good. But it also stars, or doesn't star, but features one of our favorites.
One of my.
And this is a name that you can
sure.
say.
I can say.
Go ahead, I'll give
Moss.
it. There you go.
There we go. Yes.
And Tim Heidecker from the Tim and Eric show and stuff like that. And as soon as I saw Tim Heidecker, because I'm used to him doing just crazy fucking wacky shit. I'm like, man, this is the most normal role he's ever done. 15 minutes later, he's doing some crazy wacky shit. He's going full crazy. Right. But it's got a great cast.
Yeah, the cast is awesome.
The kids in this, the boy and the girl.
I thought the girl almost like when we see her doppelganger, she almost stole the show from me.
The girl's doppelganger.
How menacing her face was.
Her Umbre.
Dude. It was.
Her face was
creepy.
really good, but I really thought the son, Pluto, his doppelganger, I thought was really good. Although he's wearing a mask most of the time.
But the physicality.
But those are his movements
tough.
for sure.
Right.
And with the prosthetics and everything, and the obsession with fire, except all the doppelgangers were cool. I mean,
they were.
They were all very scary, especially Gabe's, the husband's, Abraham. Who's just this giant fucking Frankenstein-esque man.
And it was weird because they're doppelgangers, but he almost seemed like more powerful, like stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I got this, we'll dive into it, but I got the sense that it's because they were just fucking pure pure hate. They were, I mean, they were fueled by it.
Yeah.
And you got to think their adrenaline's probably going because this is their day.
They've been planning this since,
But,
a long time.
well, Mason, what's your initial thoughts on this movie?
Oh, when I walked out of it, man, like I couldn't even, and this is going to sound like I didn't like it, but that's not the case. I almost didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
I didn't. And I had to sit on this for more than a day.
Yeah.
And just think like, what the hell did I just watch? But you look and there's so much symbolism and so much smart symbolism throughout this movie that like, I really wanted to go back and watch it again. And I told you that. And unfortunately, there were some circumstances where I couldn't this week. But dude, I wanted to so bad because there's so many of those little subtle things. One that I can think of that I thought was genius just off the top of my head was the spider sequence.
Yes.
You know, with the real spider and the
this movie is almost made for, I mean, it's made for multiple watches,
Right.
which is what makes a good movie.
Exactly.
But exactly, like the first go round, you come out of it and you're kind of like stunned. You know, you're kind of shocked. It does take some time, but that second time, that's exactly what I was going in for. The first time I was going in just to absorb it all, but the second time I was going in to look for all those little tiny subtle things. And like you said, they're scattered throughout the entire
everywhere.
The subtlism with the 11-11 shit like that, it's constant throughout. But you do not, but it's not in your face or whatever, like we see so many movies do. Where it's like, look at this. This is supposed to mean something.
Right,
Where it's like,
yes.
it's perfectly subtle where you would never catch it unless you were looking for it.
Exactly.
Which is amazing.
And that's the thing too, like even with the character names, like with Abraham and Pluto, like they all have meanings behind them.
Well, that's what this movie felt like. Every scene felt like it meant something, right? Like it was some kind of showing. And and it's got a crazy twist too that we will get into, but a twist that I did not see coming.
Okay, I got to be honest with you, and this is just complete transparency. I knew. I've watched too many of those where, boom, it gets cut off right before we see what happens, and I go, something happened here.
Well,
something happened here. But what the story did so well, okay, is they give you that, and for people like me who might have saw it, then I was starting to doubt that in the middle of the movie. Because it went away from that so much that I was like, okay, no, I'm crazy. That's not actually what's going on. But I like to try to do that. I like, okay, that's okay. There's a reason that happened. But then the movie went a completely different route for so long that I was like, oh, like I almost had forgotten about it until the big reveal, which we won't get into it right now. But I was just like, holy crap, I actually was right. That was another thing that I loved about the movie is because it made you second guess so many different times.
Yeah, well, there was towards the end, I was definitely starting to pick up on it for sure, but I did not really until until the very end. I just didn't, because like you said, there were so many things that made you think, oh, there's no way. Mm-hmm. Like I guess you do kind of immediately think, okay, well maybe there's something going on,
right?
But they do so much things where you're like, we want the twist where you're like, there's. Because it's hard to talk about without getting it, but like you said, just looking at it, you're thinking, I mean, there's no way. It's so bizarre what's going on. You think there's no way that I could possibly be right.
Right, and I think the one thing that constantly gave that away for me was the fact that the very next scene was in the therapy room, right?
Yeah.
And not one time did we ever see her.
Well,
not one time.
Well, yeah, but at that time, you don't know that they can't talk or anything.
No, but I'm saying throughout the movie, so like when they were talking about how they never had a voice, they can't do this or that.
Oh,
I'm starting to think to myself, okay, maybe, but that's what I'm saying is like that journey to get there for me was fun because initially I was like, yep. And then I was like, nope. And then I was like, oh, hold on, maybe.
See, my mind went to a completely different place after that whole. So we'll get in. So it opens up, right? It's early 80s. We immediately get a shot of hands across America, which has a ton of symbolism in itself.
And it set up the whole premise of the movie right there in that preview.
If you don't know, do you know what Hands Across America is before this?
Yes, it was. I actually did. Believe it or not. I actually did.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
But it was the whole event, and this was during kind of the Reagan-esque era.
Exactly. It was during that fucking where
The Cold War.
some people say it was a great time.
Right.
You either say it was the greatest time in America, or some people think it's the fucking worst time, where
Right.
the most sellouts were. And this Hands Across America amplifies that whole thing of that
it was
80s
that,
era.
Yeah, it was that like, oh, everything's okay. Let's
Yeah,
do this.
because
when
we're all
there was
holding
a lot
hands.
Of underlining, very scary things.
Well, the whole thing,
going
Hands
on.
Across America, it was to shine light on a horrible homelessness problem that was really peaking during the 80s, because that was the drug war.
Yeah.
And
it may be
fucking-
peaking again nowadays.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude.
Oh, I would say definitely, yeah. But because we have because we still have crazy drug problem, the same exact drug problem that was happening.
Yeah, right.
Worse than ever. But and that movie, that movie's kind of all about that. But yeah, Hands Across America, it was this big gimmick advertising stunt where people were literally gonna hold hands from one end of America to the other, and they would all, like, some people would donate money to, like, have your place in the line.
Right, yeah.
And it was supposed to be, and it ended up being like there was big holes in the chain, and it cost so much money to set up that they ended up like having barely any money, and it did nothing for homelessness.
Nothing. Literally not a thing.
And as soon as it kind of happened, people were like, "Okay, let's all forget about it." And
Yeah,
people
let's
ended
forget
up
it.
forgetting
Let's go
about
back to our
homeless-
lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's how the movie starts. It starts with the commercial for Hands Across America, which was perfect, probably, and some subtle things that I don't know if you saw, but the opening shot is zooming into the TV. You see what movies were on the shelf on the TV.
You know what? Based from memory, no.
So one of them is Goonies.
Yes.
Yes, one of them is Goonies, but that has something in it that I'll bring up again. So yeah,
Okay.
that tells you, that gives away the twist almost at the very beginning. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Through the Goonies.
Through the Goonies,
Film.
which I would not have picked up, or I would not have saw. I only picked it up the second time. But I'll tell you, and it's fucking genius.
Oh man, I can't wait for that. You're leaving me on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
now,
I
dude.
am. But I'll get
Bastard.
into it. So it shows Hands Across America, kind of explains the bullshit of all that,
Right.
you know. And only something like that could happen in the 80s. I don't think that would ever work.
Never.
I think people
Never.
would be like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, we're
I don't-
good.
Yeah,
We
no.
got scammed in 2012 with the whole Coney thing, so
Oh my
we're good.
god, yeah. But at least
That was
then-
our Hands Across America. That was our generation.
Jeez, that was worse. That might have been worse than Hands
That
Across.
might have been.
But yeah. So it shows that it's the 80s, and then it shows the main character, Lupita Nyong'o, and she's young, and she's at the carnival. It's her birthday, right? And her family, and her parents. You can already tell
Not a good relationship.
fucking hate each other.
Always fighting.
Yeah. Anything the guy does or whatever, you just see this tension. He wins her a shirt, a Thriller shirt.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yes, and in the 80s, of course, you know, what little girl isn't gonna want a Thriller
Oh, yeah.
shirt? But I love the whole set of the carnival and everything. It felt like if you've ever seen the Lost Boys,
The vampire.
Yeah.
Yes.
it felt like exactly like that or whatever. And they kind of even nod to that, where they say the mom says, "I think they're filming something over by the carousel." Apparently, that was supposed to be they were filming the Lost Boys there.
Oh,
the carousel, so it was
okay,
a nod to
right,
that, yeah.
okay.
But so they keep on moving, and the mom, Lupita Nyong'o's mom, goes to the bathroom, leaves the daughter with the dad.
And he's playing whack-a-mole like you'd never believe. Like his life depended on that.
And he is the shittiest whack-a-mole player I have.
Not very good. No.
I thought I saw it the first time going around. I'm like, is he really playing whack-a-mole like that? And then the second time, I specifically was like, he's literally just hovering over one. It's an odd. It's a.
Well, you know how many times they probably had to shoot that from so many different
I know,
angles
but
that this actor was like, bro, I can't be doing this.
I
the
know,
whole
but I can't
time."
believe it is a small thing where you never probably see it. But he's the worst.
Yeah, he's
I
not
mean,
very good at it. No.
But he's also not a very good dad in general.
No, because his daughter was gone for a while and he didn't notice.
Yeah. Well, of course, but we don't know how long they were looking for her, right?
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
And let's say she fucking wanders off a big old distance.
She does.
So her
And
dad's playing
mother told her
whack-a-mole,
not
and the
to-
dad's kind of drunk. Yeah, and the mom tells her, and this kid, which kids, for some reason, have this innate ability to immediately just have to walk away.
I know.
From
just
any
to disappear. It's weird.
I swear I did it when I was a kid. It was something that just...
It's curiosity when you're a child.
It is, and it's the limited ability to focus on one thing.
Right.
You know, as soon as you see something else, you're,
that catches your eye.
I gotta
it's
check
like,
that out. Yeah,
yep.
it's every kid's got horrible ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
They all need to be on medication. Medicated.
I actually strongly against that. I do not.
Oh, really? Oh, you don't
not,
like that one?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. No, I do not think every kid needs to be on
Really
ADHD.
disagree.
I think, yeah, I think we're different on that spectrum.
But she wanders off, and I love this shot in the movie where she's walking. She's got the candy apple and the thriller shirt and the storm going on behind her. This crazy fucking storm. And all the kids on the beach. I love the cinematography there. And
it was beautiful. And I really thought we were going to get like a Stranger Things kind of thing in the lightning when it showed it.
Yeah.
It was really cool that I was like, are we going to see something up there?
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know
I
what
was
I mean?
looking for it too.
Yeah.
And then the background of the carnival and that fun house. It's the cinematography is amazing. In
It
this,
really is.
everything. But
Especially, and it set the tone for the whole film too.
and
like
that very start sets the tone with the fucking opening song. The opening song on the score. Do you remember it?
I don't. No.
Okay, I'll try to play.
Hold on. We're not down to the beach yet, though, right?
No,
She passed.
This is the first song. This is literally the first song that plays, like right in the opening credits or whatever.
Yeah, it's not 5 on it. I tell you that much.
No, sir, it is not.
What was that? No, I can't remember. Now that I think of it.
Let's see if I can. It's they made it's a score that they made. It's not. Let's see if I can play it.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
This set the whole fucking tone for the movie. This is the first thing you see when they're,
I like it too. It's creepy.
It's good. And it's completely, the words are completely nonsense.
Well, of course.
They don't mean, I
Yeah.
mean, but yeah, it's fucking creepy,
Yeah, it is
right?
creepy.
It does
It's
its
very
job.
creepy,
And
yeah.
and we have to talk about the score in this movie is amazing.
It's really good.
And they play a 5 on it a shit ton.
They do.
But
I love the rendition and the way that they slowed it down.
It's not, they,
you know?
well, the start of 5 on it, because we'll play that, but you would never listen to it, you'd never think, but the start of it, it's perfect for a horror movie. Where they just play that piano, but they don't play the words, they just play that piano. It's perfect. And they play it a lot, and it's used really well.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And 5 on it. It's a great
great song. Yeah.
But, yeah, so she wanders off, and she
Right.
sees the House of Mirrors or whatever.
Yeah, but before that, she passes the two girls, or not the two girls, the boy and the girlfriend. They're making out.
And it's shot in a way where it's like, notice these things.
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's like,
Right.
okay, figure, or just kind of mentally, remember
Try to
what's going
process
on.
all of this.
Because it shows the guy, the Navy guy.
Yep.
It shows him. It shows the guys on the fucking Gravitron or whatever that ride is.
Yeah. And the biggest one is it showed the homeless man with the Jeremiah 11:11.
11:11.
And I would like, this is not Bible class, but I'd like to read the scripture
yeah, go
because
ahead.
it means, because honestly, that was the first thing that I wanted to know so bad. I wanted
Exactly,
to pull
yeah.
out my phone in the theater
I
and be
didn't-
like, what is Jeremiah 11:11? I know 29:11, but I didn't know 11:11.
I know 9/11. Never forget.
Never forget.
But hey, if I get a chance, I'm always gonna bring it up.
Right,
Okay?
of course.
I'll
Well,
never
you
forget. It's
never
always in
forget.
the back
It's a
of my mind.
serious
If you're a
thing.
real American,
Right,
it's always in
yeah.
the back of my mind. But yeah, I did not know what I mean, I obviously knew it, and it does mean something.
It does.
But it's not Genesis, right? Is it Revelation?
No, Jeremiah 11:11.
Yeah, but it's the book.
Oh, it's the
of-
Old Testament. It's the book of Jeremiah,
Oh,
but it's Old Testament.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it would be like obviously before Christ came, that kind of thing. Therefore, this is what the Lord says: I will bring on them a disaster they cannot escape. Although they cry out to me, I will not listen to them. That's Jeremiah 11:11.
and that's fucking great.
Yeah,
And the Bible's hardcore.
it is. Well, the Old Testament's very hardcore.
Very hardcore.
I mean, yes. It's
and
crazy.
isn't that what's great about religion? Is if
It's
something's
hardcore.
hardcore, take it out of the Bible.
meta.
We don't like it anymore.
We're good. We're gonna pass.
It's a little
on this.
too hardcore for us. We like these other things,
Yeah,
but we don't like those.
We're not a fan of this killing of people.
Yeah, so let's pick and choose. But yeah, so that guy, and then it never gets into it or whatever, but he knew, obviously, right?
Who did?
The homeless guy.
Yeah, the homeless guy.
He knew that something was coming or something somehow. I mean, we forgot to talk about it, but the very start, before you see anything, it does that little short script about the tunnels.
Yes.
There's tunnels.
There's thousands
of miles. It's
tunnels.
empty subway systems, coal mines.
And that's actually a real thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
real.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't just made up for the film. It's not
and they say it's
alternative
a lot of it is just like abandoned maintenance, like hatches and stuff, just stuff running through cities that people completely forget about eventually.
Could you imagine just going down there and exploring?
Well, if you a little off subject, but you can go to a ghost tour in Portland.
Right, in Portland. Yeah, I know about that.
But there's
with
tunnels.
The hatches they used to drop down and kill people.
It's a Shanghai. Yeah, they used to sell people to fucking ships, slave ships in Portland.
That's dark.
But it's a great ghost tour too. I mean, we're not.
What if they're
sponsored
just
by
low
him.
key still doing that? We just don't know.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. But there's there's tunnels all through Portland,
right?
And they take you through such a small part of it in that tour because you can get lost. You get lost.
Yeah, you get lost and never come back.
No, but like you said, but you never think about it. Walking above, you never think that there's miles.
There's miles and miles of tunnels. Never.
And
especially over in LA and stuff.
And who the fuck is down there? Yeah, exactly. You know,
well, that's what another element that this movie did so
with
well.
no one ever going down there. Anything could be down there. A story that one of my bosses told me that where he worked at Macy's in Portland. He said that they had a kind of maintenance hatch because the Macy's in Portland was in downtown. It was a really old building.
Yeah,
and they had a bunch of those underground stuff, and they found a homeless guy that was dead in there. They said they thought he was living in there for years.
No,
in the
way.
bottom of
and he just died down there.
Yes.
How long was he dead for?
They said that luckily he wasn't dead for very long, or
True,
I mean for a few.
Because that would have stunk.
Oh yeah, but I wonder
rats?
if that's how they did find him was the stench.
The
or
stench.
But they said that they don't know how long he's been down there.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's crazy shit like that. That makes you think this. I mean, once you know that, then going into this movie, it's even freakier, right?
Could you imagine going down there and exploring and then seeing someone down there and just a million different things come across your mind? Like, oh, mutant, something.
Yeah,
dude,
oh, yeah.
You're not expecting other people to be
Especially after
down
this
there.
fucking movie.
I know.
I don't want
thanks
to go.
a lot, Jordan Peele.
I don't-
I'll never go exploring again.
But I wonder if that's how this movie was spawned, with just the simple premise that there's
It was like
miles and
basically-
miles of tunnels, because you can immediately think of a million different things that's going on down there.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
most of
sure.
it's not good. That comes to my head.
No.
Tunnel people are never
except the
good
Teenage
people.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
That's the only
And that's the
positive that
sewers,
came out of
though.
the sewers.
I'm cool with the going in the sewers.
Right.
Sewers, there's always fun stuff down there.
Always.
Pennywise, not
so
much
fun.
It's
Yeah,
fun
no.
for a little bit. Yeah, it's usually not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though. Unfortunately,
No, it's not. I know. We need more TMNT in our lives. Yeah.
So she wanders in, and she's the bravest fucking kid in the world. Because I would be so far fucking gone.
I'd be so terrified.
Yeah,
By myself in a
I'd be
funhouse
hanging
like
out
that?
on the beach with those hippies, smoking a little doob, getting a little drink,
Having a little fun.
yeah, not wandering into the goddamn funhouse that doesn't look like anyone's been in for.
Well over a week.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like you would specifically walk in there and come out with a curse or something. Like you would be. I mean, there's nothing fun, and it's like in the movie, it's like Find Yourself or something.
Mm-hmm. And they changed the name when she was an adult to like Merlin's Forest.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
was it before?
Before it was
The
Native American.
Native American, yes.
What was it? Like I can't remember what
Right.
what it was called.
But anyway,
But it was something like that, yeah. And then
Find
they
Your
changed,
Spirit, though,
yeah,
yeah.
and then they changed it. But there's something on the side of that when she walks in, it's scratched in that says "Get Out." Yeah.
Are you serious?
Nod to the
wow,
nod to
that's
Get Out.
so
Yeah,
clever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So she wanders in there. She's freaked out. She hears the power goes out.
course it does.
My nightmare, my goddamn nightmare
man.
when I was
And
a kid.
the
When I was a
power goes
kid, the
out-
power going out anywhere was my
Right.
nightmare.
It's scary.
Yeah.
But then the power going out when she's in the room full of mirrors.
Exactly.
That was the most scary thing.
And she immediately starts like hyperventilating.
Understandably.
Freaking out. And she kind of does like this whistle thing. I think it was kind of
It was, oh man, what was she whistling?
5 on it.
No. No, it was an old like nursery rhyme.
Yeah, but it was but she was kind of doing it just to like
Keep
make
her mind
herself feel more
preoccupied.
comfortable, right?
Right.
But she whistles and then she hears another fucking whistle, which is never good.
Which finished the rest of the song.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
almost like whoever whistled it knew the song or whatever, right? So she's trying to run towards the exit, and of course, in a fun house, you can't fucking find the exit.
No.
They must be the biggest fucking fire hazards in the world.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if fire starts in there, how the hell are you getting out of there? In a goddamn house of mirrors. But so she hears the whistle, and then she sees, or she kind of bumps into a figure. But it's not a figure.
But it's not facing her.
Yeah, and it's not because she's not facing it either yet. So immediately you think it's a mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she turns around, and it's very, very scary like way. Turns around, and the mirror doesn't turn around, which is something you never want to see in a mirror.
Not
If your
in
reflection's
any
not
lifetime,
following
you do not
you-
want to see that.
Yeah.
No.
So she's kind of, and then she's stunned, obviously, and then the figure turns around, and it's fucking her.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, right?
Yep.
And in black.
Yep.
Which, to me, this is where I think we differ, where I just thought she just ran out of there or fainted or some shit.
For me, it's always with these kind of movies. It's always I always ask myself, why did we not finish? Why did we not see what happened next?
Yeah, I just thought it was an artistic point of view,
Right,
where
right,
because
yeah.
it's cut, because they cut and then they immediately cut to her being in fucking, or well, they cut to the car and they're
Mm-hmm.
but then it cuts to her them being in therapy, and she hasn't talked since then, and I just thought,
because
well,
they were saying that she suffered from PTSD.
yeah, well, and I just thought, well, yeah, I
psychiatrist.
mean, a kid fucking sees her.
herself.
I'm pretty good. I'm probably gonna shut up.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I got
just,
nothing else to say.
I don't really want to talk to anyone right now. This was just.
I'm
a
just
little
gonna be
weird.
alone for a little bit, because yeah. So I just thought she was just a mute now, and the therapist, and you see the parents are still fighting, and the therapist says you might want to give her a way to express herself that's not talking
Right.
And
So
that's
like
how-
drawing,
and dancing,
dancing.
and then
yes.
that's how, and dance is kind of throughout this entire movie, but that's what she ends up doing is ballet, right?
Yep.
And then eventually she ends up talking again.
Yes, she does.
Right.
She learns the English language.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we know through. I mean, yeah, she eventually does. But yeah. So that was the start of it. And man, I thought it kicked off pretty fucking quick.
So did I.
Some people were saying it's kind of started off slow, but I thought it got really.
Got right to the point right away.
Or yeah, because again, once you think you've seen a break-in movie, you're thinking it's gonna be them kind of harassing them on the outside or whatever. So you think that's gonna be a while, but it gets right into the nitty-gritty of it.
Well, yeah, and there were some setups like in the first act where you're like, okay, this is a home invasion movie, like with the whole ambulance sequence with the little card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
exactly,
like,
yeah.
okay, that's really going to come into play later, and probably the third act when they're trying to escape. But no, it just literally happened like 5 minutes later.
Exactly. Where
And was
I almost
like,
thought,
whoa,
I'm like, oh, that's gonna be like a pivotal moment.
Exactly.
Like that's gonna save everyone or
Yep.
something. That little fucking ambulance thing. But really, it's a small thing. But it does come back. But
And
it
it
comes
comes
back
back.
like 5 minutes later.
Exactly. But what's so cool about the writing too is it also comes back in Act 3 as well
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
at the very end,
Yes, sir.
which is
Symbolism.
Yeah, it's good. It's very
Symbolism and everything.
good. Yeah.
So it flashes to present day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got Lupita Nyong'o. She's with Winston Duke, her husband. They're
Yep.
driving because they got a beach house or something.
Yeah, in Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, beautiful.
It's the place to be.
Beautiful Santa
It
Cruz.
is.
Shit's always going down in Santa Cruz, though.
What'd you say?
Shit's always going down. in
Yeah,
Santa
oh no,
Cruz.
definitely. Right.
But yeah. So they're on their way. They're going to their beach house, or they get to the beach house, right? And it kind of introduces the kid, where the kid's all the kids are kind of weird, right?
What kids? Just the two?
Her kids, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
they're normal kids. I mean,
But
the girl's always on her cell phone, and the boys, I would say the boys different.
But it is acknowledged that the boy is kind of different.
Yes, it
right?
is.
It is acknowledged
very
a few
early on.
times
Yeah.
where the family even acknowledges it, and then the two girls also acknowledge it.
Right.
So you immediately get the sense that he's a little different in some ways,
Right.
and he is different. You find out
Yeah.
through, but yeah. So it shows the family, and they want to go to the beach, and she immediately does not want to go to the
No,
beach.
she's not a fan of that idea.
No, because at the beach is where she saw.
The trauma.
Yeah,
Right.
it's back, and the beach hasn't fucking changed in
Not
30
one
goddamn
bit.
years.
No,
I mean,
not a single ride was adjusted. I want to know
which
who's
is
doing
amazing
because
there's. Except they did throw a new coat paint on the House of Mirrors.
They did.
Good
Good for them.
I'm guessing like there's a crew probably taking care of that place or something.
Yeah,
right?
I would hope so. Yeah.
I mean, because well, you find out what's going on there. I mean, it's like because that's like the main entrance to hell.
It
or
is. It's a
whatever.
portal.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's it's there for a reason. That funhouse kind of is there for some kind of reason. But yeah, so we find out that she does not want to go to the beach, and we kind of get an introduction to the dad. And Winston Duke, I thought, did a good job playing a dorky dad.
He did.
you know?
Oh, great job. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah,
And some also relatable moments, like just as a father, as a daughter and son, and as a mother. Like the whole family was relatable to everyone, I thought.
yeah, and they had great chemistry together.
Yeah,
where you
definitely.
really did think that you really
were a
did feel
family.
like, especially with Lupita Nyong'o and the son.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because obviously their thing was they were really close or
Right.
whatever for some reason or whatever. But yeah, you really felt that throughout the movie that they were really close. But they end up going to the beach,
Right. Kind of to impress
reluctantly.
Kitty and what's her husband's name?
Yes, Tim
Kitty-
Heidecker. and-
Josh and Kitty. That's
Yeah.
right.
And that's Tim Heidecker and
Mhm.
Elizabeth Moss.
And it was so funny too. Like before they went to the beach, wasn't it before that they went to the house and then he showed the family that
The
he
boat.
bought the boat?
The boat.
He's like, maybe they'll get off my ass now. he's trying to impress his friends. It was so funny.
Yeah, and he buys total fucking dad move.
Oh,
He buys
yeah.
some shitty boat.
That you got to hit the
The
motor every couple minutes.
which was foreshadowing a
it
lot
was.
which is a lot of course. That's what a lot of any movie is, but any horror movie. I mean, that's a lot of foreshadowing. But yeah, we get that. We see that he's got a boat because he wants to impress their neighbors or friends or whatever, and because they have all the nicest shit.
Of course.
But that's kind of an important part. What I thought in the movie was they're kind of middle lower class or whatever, and they don't think any of their shit's good enough or whatnot. They think that their stuff isn't as good because they don't have the nicest shit and whatnot. To Tim Heidecker and
Right.
everything.
Because they always feel like they always one up them, the Tyler family.
Yeah, exactly. But even though they have a beach house and everything like that.
I'd say they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they still, complain or whatever. And I think that plays a big part, but we'll dip back into that. So they go to the beach. Lupita Nyong'o's character, she's Adelaide. She's not having a good time.
No, she's not. And it was funny too with her in that scene with Elizabeth Moss where she's like, "Yeah, I just don't really know how to talk."
Yeah. I know.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
And that's also foreshadowing too in that dialogue.
Yeah.
I thought that was a weird thing to say originally. I had no idea that it was in regards to that later on, but I thought it was a very odd thing to say to someone. Like when I first watched it, I was like,
Yeah.
huh, that's weird.
Well,
She must really not like this lady.
Well, I don't think it was as much as I think it was more in the because she can talk in every other situation, but I really think it was that she was at the beach and she was like, I can't.
Well, right, and she doesn't like to talk about herself because obviously
Yeah.
herself was
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So they're at, but while they're driving to the beach, we have to say we see the homeless man.
And he's dead.
Yeah. And for like 30 years, he was standing outside
With that Jeremiah
Which is
11:11
dedicated.
sign. It's very dedicated to the cause.
He was on his post for a long time,
a
and he
long
did not
time.
waver.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of homeless people, dude, you should check out, because me and you were watching that YouTube stuff, but I watched this YouTube channel called Invisible People, where it talks about the stories of
yeah.
homeless people. Some of those stories are sad, man.
Oh, yeah.
There's some people who've
Most
been
of
on the
them
street
probably
for
are,
like
yeah.
2 decades. I'm like, ugh, that's not a life you want to live. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no,
Check it
absolutely
out,
not.
though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And especially this homeless man, he
was on
fell in
this
the line
for
of duty.
30 years.
He was
yeah.
out there doing his job, telling people the end is nigh. And what happens? What we see
died
is
for
it
it.
looked like he got stabbed
Yeah. Multiple
times. And his coat's taken.
Mm.
The coat.
The coat.
But he still has the Jeremiah sign, which looks like the original fucking sign.
Right.
that
I don't think he threw it away in those 30 years. No.
So he was definitely adamant about what he was doing.
Yeah.
Which again, gives me all kinds of things. Like he fucking knew. He knew. He was the only one that knew. And he was trying to warn people for 30 years. Which you can get in all kinds of conspiracies about that. But so they wave off that Adelaide is nervous about the beach or whatever, and they force her. they
pretty much.
They go
And
to the beach.
along the way, when they're at the beach, there's a ton of coincidences too. So like the 11:11, the frisbee that landed right on the dot.
Yeah, and you get immediately it's weird coincidences happening where even the characters are realizing it. It's not just us, the audience, but even Adelaide will be wrong. She's like, she starts seeing it, and then even Elizabeth Moss character even
Brings
says,
it up too.
she's like, yeah, all this crazy shit's been going on. But why do you think that is? What's your theory in that? I mean, how are these things happening?
I think it's just a time.
Just the universe?
Mhm.
Just it all kind of
All
aligning or whatever?
I mean, because anytime she looked at the clock, it was 11:11. Jeremiah 11:11.
I know, but
The frisbee landing perfectly on the towel,
Yeah.
the beach towel.
but everything else is kind of like, it kind of has like a scientific base to it or whatever. But these things are just like, it's just like straight up mysticism. It's
Right.
like magic, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it just gives it kind of a whole nother layer to the movie. So the boy, her son, immediately wanders off like she does, like mother, like son, and he wanders off. And where does he wander to?
Well, he says he's going to the bathroom, which he does do. So
He does
good job.
do, yes.
Good job. He did what he said he
What
was
I
going to do.
immediately thought of was he was going to the porta potties.
Yes. Oh, never mind.
No, yeah, no. This is
yeah.
trust me. This is not what you thought. He was going to the porta potties and he was barefoot. So I immediately thought, oh my god, he's gonna be standing in shit.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
No. See, I thought originally he was going to go to the House of Mirrors.
Oh yeah,
That's what I
oh yeah,
thought.
me too.
Because
Yeah,
we
yeah, I
saw
agree.
it, and I was
He
like,
was.
oh, he's going
he
there.
was
Yeah.
for sure. And then
Until
who does he see? The fucking old guy.
the homeless man
But-
in the jacket.
But was good. And he's wearing something else though.
Yeah, huh?
He's wearing a red
He's
jumper.
wearing a red jumpsuit. Yeah. And there's some blood trickling down that man's hand.
But immediately when I thought, oh, this guy got out of the ambulance, ran back to his spot, because the blood, I immediately thought the blood was his.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
right? You thought it was him that got stabbed. I'm like, man, he is adamant about that spot. But he's not in the same spot. He's out on the beach, and he's got his arms out.
Arms out in like a very like symbolically
Yeah.
come get me God kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very strange, but it fucks up the kid. I mean, somewhat. He sees the blood and whatnot.
Oh yeah, he runs back.
Yeah, he runs, and then his mom, and then the mom, Adelaide, she's freaking out, making a big scene, which is
big scene.
always embarrassing
It's
when your mom
super
does shit like
embarrassing,
that.
especially when you're that age as a kid.
Oh,
and your
yeah.
mom's making that big.
And
deal.
I've been in that situation where your parents think you're gone, and they're just
Oh, that's rough.
and then they're happy that you're there, and then they start yelling at
Then
you.
because they're mad.
And then
You're right.
As a kid, you're getting all kinds of mixed signals.
Weird emotions,
And
you
especially
don't know what
when
to
you
do with your
win.
hands.
Yeah, especially when you went and just saw a homeless, bloody guy. So you got that in your head. Now your parents are yelling at you.
That's a confusing day.
Yeah. Oh, for anyone.
Yeah. For
Oh,
anyone,
yeah. So they get out of the beach. They bounce off the beach, right?
Yep.
It's not a good place.
No, they end up going back to the beach house.
And it's because she's getting this feeling that something's building up,
Mm-hmm.
right? That something's coming. And
that was kind of her excuse too, with the boy leaving. That okay, now it's time to leave.
oh yeah, for sure.
It was kind of her out.
But they get back and she's still kind of freaking out.
Yeah, no, she
right?
definitely is because she pulls in Duke in the room.
Yeah, but
Says she's got or Gabe, not
Yeah.
Duke. Gabe.
well, Winston Duke is his name.
Is his name, but Gabe pulls back Gabe in the room and is like starts talking about all these
Well,
coincidences
before that,
and what happened to her.
Before that, let's talk about he's on the couch watching TV.
Yes.
And he's watching a baseball game, and the announcer says the score of the Giants game is 11-11.
How did I miss that?
It's very quiet. It's very
Wow.
quiet. Yeah, and again, I only saw it the second time.
Coincidences.
Yeah. But and that's one that she doesn't even realize, because she's on frenzy mode and whatnot. But so she goes in and she tucks in.
Did you pick that up first or second viewing?
Second for sure. Oh yeah.
Because I didn't pick that up at first at all.
I didn't. But so she tucks her kids in or whatever. She tells the boy. We have to say the boy, he's like obsessed with his mask.
The Chewbacca mask.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, it's a Chewbacca
I did
mask.
not. It's such a shitty 1980s
terrible
mask.
Yeah.
Not movie quality at all.
At all.
Not even
The
close.
Step Brothers would have been pissed. Mine's not movie quality, but that's okay.
That's one of my favorite jokes of the movie. He got such a good mask.
Yeah,
And then
he got the shield one.
It's like a Walmart plastic. Yeah, it's okay. Mine's not movie quality.
But it's okay, yeah.
But yeah, he's obsessed with this mask, kind of, because again, he's a weird kid.
Very weird.
Kind of weird,
Just
right?
different.
And the whole time, he's also playing with the little magic trick.
Which
Flame starter.
Yeah, it's like a flame starter.
Yeah, it was one of
like
those things where you like
portable.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to see it on your thumb or whatever, and you did, and it's a magic trick. That's all it is. It comes in the cheap, shitty fucking boxes or whatever. But yeah. So she tucks him in, tells him to stick with her,
Right.
because obviously, number one thing about her is getting lost. She doesn't want her kids getting lost. She doesn't want to get lost. So she tells her to stick with them. And they go back and they go into the bedroom. She pulls Gabe in. And she tells him that she's got to get out of there.
She's got a bad feeling. She's
Yeah.
got PTSD from the beach.
She
doesn't
finally
like
tells
it.
them the story.
Right, the actual story of what happened.
And of course...
He's trying to be the supportive husband, but at the same time...
And
he's
this
kinda
is what I
"Huh?"
like about this movie. This felt so real to me, where that's what I felt the reaction is what you would get if you told someone that. That's someone that really cared about you. They wouldn't be like... Because in movies, you always get where like, oh, they'll immediately there to say she's crazy.
Right, yeah.
Like they can never believe her. But he's trying to, believe her and whatnot. And he's doing his best, but who's going to fucking believe that story?
It's a weird
She
story.
tells him the whole thing.
Right.
That she saw herself. And she tells him that something's coming or whatever. And of course, he can't believe her. Power goes out. Again, not a good thing.
Never a good thing. Never a good thing when the power goes out.
No, that's when you got to get the backup Ginny running.
Yes.
You got to get the
Yes.
backup Ginny. So the power goes out. She's freaking out. The kid pops up, as they always do, popping up in the worst moments. What was the son's name? I have to remember that.
Pluto. Or that was his
That's not-
doppelganger.
yeah.
Definitely
Jason.
not his name. Jason, yeah.
So Jason comes out, says there's a family in the driveway. Which is not something you want your son to tell you.
No, and
the
especially
middle-
not late at night either.
Never. And it is late. It's like midnight at this point. Because when they were going to bed, it was 11:11.
Yeah.
So not a good thing. And then they say it's not a family in the driveway. And I love the editing cut where it immediately cuts to it, and they're all in the window. And he's like, "Oh, there is a family in our driveway."
That's kind of the comedy there.
Yeah, and and of course
There's
that's
comedy
always
sprinkled
going
in
to be
this.
because Jordan Peele is one hilarious. Not only is he an amazing director, but he's fucking hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just watch Key and Peele.
It's so good.
Dude,
And they're still making
Me and
Key and
Zach used to watch that, dude. We would laugh so hard until we cried.
They still come out with a new Key and Peele. The show's not on anymore, but they still come out with a Key and Peele skit like every week.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
I
him
didn't
and
know
they
that.
still yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they just
So I got a lot of catching up to do then.
Oh yeah, and there's been some good ones too, yeah. It's good cuz it's all like stuff that's going on now. But they just
Current
posted
event stuff.
They just posted on Comedy Central YouTube channel now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's a family in the driveway. The family are all holding hands. They're all kind of wearing similar outfits. That's what I could tell just from because it's really dark.
Right.
Right. And So Gabe puts on his dad pants, and he goes. He literally puts on pants because he's not wearing any.
Of course he's not. He's a father.
And he goes out there, and dads hate. There's one thing dads hate.
hates
It's pants.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but it's like they're wearing a suit of armor or something. They can't get those. Can't wait to get those things off.
It's too much. It's too uncomfortable. Who wants to wear pants?
I'm not a big fan of pants.
You know what? Once you become a dad, it's game over.
Who you trying to? The only reason I wear pants is because you don't wear pants. People call the cops. They will. They start yelling at you. People don't like it.
No.
Dads get a pass.
They do.
So he goes out, tries to talk to the family and whatnot in a cool scene. They're not too responsive. We still
Well, it was funny too because he went out. He was like trying to be nice to him, but telling him, "Hey, get off the porch." He comes back in the house. He goes, "They're not leaving." And then he comes back. He goes, "Now I mean business. You guys want to play?
Yeah.
Let's play," or whatever he said. And then that's when.
Did you think? Because I don't think this movie is about race at all. I did not. I
didn't catch any themes. No.
Where Get Out was obviously
right.
Obviously about race. But some people were trying to. But I did not get that sense that this movie was about race as much as I'll tell you right now. I thought the whole movie was about class.
Yeah.
Different classes.
Definitely.
And I thought
this was like. We don't see a lot of, and this is just the reality of it, but we don't see a lot of black leads in middle class.
Well, you don't see black
horror films.
You don't see black families in horror films
at all.
And Jordan Peele even came out and said something. He's like, it is kind of initial shock, because most of the time, I know it's horrible, but most of the time when you see a black person in a horror movie, they're dying.
They get killed.
Get killed. It's
watch Anaconda.
Yes, and they talk.
Ice Cube.
Because the token black.
Not Ice Cube, the other guy.
Yeah, it's not Ice Cube.
It's not Ice Cube.
But and they call, it's the token black guy because that's what they say that they're expendable or whatever. But Jordan Peele even said it's like once you get used to it, you just realize it's just another family. It's not they're not black or anything. They're just a family in a crazy situation. But it is. I don't think there's ever been a horror film centers around an entire black family.
Ice Cube is in that movie. I was right. He is in Anaconda.
Anaconda and Boa. I think Boa had a similar African American.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because Ice Cube lives through the entire Anaconda.
Yeah, he does.
That's like that was like one of the first horror movies to ever have a black guy live through the entire movie.
Right.
I remember when that came out. I remember
watching a giant snake movie where like the black guy was like the second one.
We could do a whole episode on. There was a time in the early 2000s when, because Anaconda came out, Boa came out, which I was more of a Boa fan than I was an Anaconda fan. But there was a lot of snake movies coming out.
I know, it was so
horrible CGI, and they were all
Not
CGI.
good.
It's the worst CGI you've ever seen.
Yeah, Boa got a 3.4 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm sure Anaconda got around that. Anaconda had Jennifer Lopez in it, though.
It did?
J-Lo, yeah. It had a pretty good cast, actually. But anyways, the whole reason I brought that up was because I thought it was funny because originally, he came out to confront them and he was like in dad mode, he's stern talking, but being polite. And then he goes back in and he turns to like gangster, he immediately gets hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because he's trying to intimidate him or whatever. And that doesn't work either.
No, it doesn't. You're not going to intimidate the doppelgangers.
And what I thought was a cool part is because the whole time, Adelaide, she's telling Gabe not to go out there and he's not listening. He never fucking. Which his dads
don't listen.
Dad's gonna dad, all right. And he goes out there twice. He gets the baseball bat, but she's inside the house with him, and she immediately tells the girl to go get her shoes on because she knows shit's about to go fucking down. And it does. They spread out the other family.
And then one of them.
Cool. I love the clap.
Yeah.
And they immediately go like it's been
go.
rehearsed a million times. One jumps into the fucking bushes, another one scatters up a tree.
And then the girl didn't have her window locked. So she ran back, and the mom's freaking out. She goes, "No, stay here, stay here." And as she's going to lock the window, the girl's crawling up the tree.
Yeah, and then that whole sequence, the sequence where Gabe's outside and Abraham just starts walking towards him in the dark, that's a fucking fear. I mean, just like being in an alley and like seeing someone, and then they just slowly start walking, and you can't stop them or anything. That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing I would do. He takes off running, goes back in the house, locks the house down, right? And then they all kind of scatter, and she tells them to lock the window. But they start banging on the house.
Did he get hit in the knee before that?
No. So they start walking up because they can't get in at first, right? Or they're, I guess, pretending because they get in really easily.
Yeah.
By like 5 different points of entry. The house is made of glass.
I know. Not the best house to barricade yourself.
No, because remember, she walks up, Red walks up, Adelaide's doppelganger or whatnot, and she knows where the key is.
Which is
Remember,
the hide a rock, which was also a funny scene.
What
even
kind
with
of
so
white
much
people?
Panic. Yeah,
that's not. I mean, that's like middle class white people.
Yeah.
That's I'm like a hide a key. That's rich people shit.
Really,
Yeah.
the plastic hide a key. That's what you're gonna do.
But she knows immediately where the hide a key is.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, and you immediately get the sense that something is going on or whatever. But yeah, so she opens the door. He's struggling to close the door. Abraham grabs the bat very easily and just fucking knees him, caps him, pulls
the old Tanya Harding move.
gives the old Tanya Harding, which is never fun. That's gonna ruin your career.
Why? Gosh.
Yeah, he'll never skate again.
Never. He'll never be able. He'll never be the same on
He'll never
ice.
skate again. But yeah, Tanya Harding's in big time. Fucks his knee up bad. I mean, of
not
course,
good. The rest of the duration of the film.
Yeah. Oh man, that hinders the entire thing. And they get in very easily, which is something that I thought was surprising because it wasn't bullshit of them trying to get in or whatever for an hour and them finding. But they get in and they immediately they all start coming in. They start climbing through windows and shit. And the way she walks up is very scary. You know,
it is.
With her weird like scissor and how proper it is. It just the whole thing you're thinking like they're pretending to be humans. Or they're doing what they think humans do without actually doing natural. So everything they do is very unnatural. It's like they have no human touch. They all walk around really weird. When Abraham comes in, he's like touching the drapes and stuff. Like he doesn't really understand what's going on.
Doesn't understand fabric.
Yeah, like all that shit. But yeah, so they come in and they line up and they give she kind of explains.
She gives her whole speech of like the tethered people.
Well, yeah, and the dad kind of says, "What do you want?" And Adelaide immediately tells him to shut up because she knows they're not here for money or anything because that's what he thinks he's for.
I know. He's like, "You can have the boat."
I know.
He's like, "The boat's out back. You guys want to take the boat?"
Yeah. The
No.
shitty ass.
No, yeah.
That's in a bay. Where are they gonna go?
I know.
But yeah, so they kind of all sit down, and now they're all realizing fucking Pluto comes crawling in. It's the first time you see him. He lights up the fire. We get a great score, the music and whatnot, and great lighting too. I mean, if I don't know if you like lighting going into it, but it was just the kind of the natural light of the fire and whatnot. So it was still dark on all the doppelgangers, so you didn't get a real good picture of them. You got a real good picture of the girl. That's the one that it really showed of her, and she was very scary. They were all very kind of freaky. I mean,
They were.
But yeah. So she tells him the whole thing. She kind of tells it. Red, who's Adelaide's doppelganger, she's got a real raspy voice. And she's the only one that can talk. And you were telling me earlier that there's some
controversy. Yeah. I guess some disabled people are mad because it too closely resembled what people who don't have a voice have to go through. But it's like, well, she didn't have a voice.
I know.
So
she literally,
I'm
like physically and literally, she didn't have a voice.
I swear, like people these days just write articles and just see if it catches fire. It's all clickbait.
Well, shit like that almost makes you think that they didn't even see the movie.
Well, of course. Of course. Majority of the time that happens.
I mean,
that actually happens in the news. Like where there's people who are outraged where it's like, you'll ask them, hey, did you even see this?
Yeah. And
No.
Yeah.
Well, then what are you upset about? You
That's
didn't
like
see the movie.
That's like the Michael Jackson people.
Right.
Where they're,
Yeah.
they're like, he's innocent.
He's innocent.
Well, did you watch
But did you see the
did
evidence?
you look at any of that? No. Not a fan of evidence.
Did you see what Barbra Streisand said?
That was some crazy shit.
That is some gross
She came out and apologized, but it was so... She came out and said, I didn't mean it. She literally wrote it.
You know your statement's bad when you have to come out and say, to clarify, I am against child molestation.
Yeah,
I am
your statement
against
should be-
pedophilia. Okay, well, that obviously you must have really fucked up if that has to be your statement in clarifying your position.
Well, her statement made it seem like she was 100% for pedophilia.
Well, yeah, because she was talking about Michael Jackson and like, well, his sexual preferences are his sexual preferences.
No, she said that.
What?
She said, oh, those little boys were in love with him. She
Right,
said
they wanted to be there.
They were married with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking kid. You think kids got the right mindset to know when?
Especially at 7 years old, dude. I don't know what the hell I wanted at 7 years
I
old.
think Barbra Streisand is so fucking distant from actual people that I don't think she really has any clue what's going on anymore.
Well, she's so distant from being a child. I mean, how old is she?
She's old.
Yeah, it's been a while since she's been a kid. So.
Yeah, she has no. I mean, she's a fucking idiot. She should be blacklisted for saying shit like that. I mean, it was a bizarre statement
that's
where
very
I almost
bizarre.
feel like she was drunk or something.
Yeah.
It's a Roseanne type of statement. But how do we start talking about Michael Jackson?
I don't know, but I mean, it ties into it somehow. Thriller, the T-shirt.
Yeah. So Red tells her the whole story about the tethered, and she tells her that she kind of gives him the whole spiel that the government, right, made these people to control the people above.
Yeah.
So it's some giant conspiracy where somehow, who knows how long ago it was that it happened. I mean, it doesn't get into anything, which I like because it makes you kind of think about it. But somewhere along the line, the government, or we don't even know if it's a government. It could be the fucking Illuminati or anything.
Could have been.
But sometime they cloned some people or found some way to make doubles. And all the doubles are tethered. That's literally the word they use. They use it throughout the entire thing. They're tethered where it's kind of like twins, you know? You're kind of always connected somehow and whatever. But they were thinking that you could literally control the people by controlling their tethered on the bottom. But they found out, which is never good when you're cloning people, they found out you can't clone the soul.
You cannot.
Turns out you need it.
You do need it.
Otherwise,
this is true.
Otherwise, your clones are just these fucking zombie, mean, horrible people that can't talk.
No.
You need a soul to talk, another thing.
You do.
So none of these tethered can talk. Right?
Except
Adelaide, the red, which makes her special. That's the whole thing. But she gives
which also is the reason why she's, the leader.
And it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing is when she's explaining it and she's saying, she's talking about how her whole life, how Adelaide, she had this great life. On Christmas, they gave her these great toys that were plush and cozy and whatever, but she got toys that were cold and sharp, which is fucking weird that they're even handing out toys still when they're
down there.
Yeah, but again, it's this where this world that they live in is like opposite world. Everything they do is like the polar opposite what we do. Where we have food and shit, they're eating raw rabbit.
Well, that was the only food source that they had there.
Yeah.
Was raw rabbit.
Which again makes you think, goes back to the government, which is if you're going to store people underground, rabbits are great.
They are
because they fuck like rabbits.
They do, and you get plenty of food.
You get plenty of food, yeah, and they're pretty easy to take care of.
They were eating that raw though.
Oh no, they treated these people, or these people are treated horribly, right?
Yeah, terribly.
Somehow the entire thing was, how are they getting clothes? That's what I want to know.
Right, that was one of the things that a lot of people brought up too, where how did they get all the scissors? How'd they get all the clothes?
Yeah, the scissors. Oh my God, people just hated the fact that they didn't get into the scissors.
I was wondering what symbolically it meant too.
Well, I didn't see that, but people couldn't get past the fact that why did all these people have scissors? I mean, you got to give them some kind of utensil, right?
Well, of course.
What's the universal utensil? Scissors. It does it all.
Yeah.
It cuts. It chops. You can stab the shit out of people with them.
Can.
But so I guess what I'm just guessing is like when these things are created, they get clothes and a pair of scissors. You got to kill a rabbit somehow, right? You can't do it by your bare hands.
I mean, you could strangle it.
It's difficult.
It's not easy.
It takes
You ever
time.
try to strangle something?
It takes a lot longer than you
Yeah,
think.
It does. Yep.
Yeah. I don't want people to call the FBI on us or anything.
No.
But it does. It's a workout, dude. It's an arm workout.
It's a forearm workout, you know?
Anyways.
Anywho.
But yeah, so she tells the whole story, tells her that they both lived like the same exact life. Except when something good happened to Adelaide, something horrible happened to them.
Right.
And even when she was talking about Adelaide, how Gabe, she like found a prince, and how Abraham found red, and it did not sound nearly as romantic. It sounded like it was more of a forced
arrangement.
Exactly. We're we're forced where they just had to be together. I mean, no matter what.
Yeah.
And
to me, that's an arrangement.
And I don't think that there's
Universal anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that there's much of. I don't think you can really reason with Abraham when it comes to it. It seemed like he had a one-track mind when it comes to everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she tells him the whole story and that they're tethered together, and that at some point the government said this isn't fucking working, and locked them up. I mean, just kind of forgot about them, right?
Yeah, they're the forgotten.
Yeah. But they're not. They're down there and they're pissed. They're angry, I'm guessing.
Well, I would be too if I got locked down there for 20, 30 years.
It's this weird thing where they're like down there, they're mimicking everything that they're doing up there, right? So remember when they're like on the ride and it's just like them in the hallway.
Yeah, shaking.
So it's weird like that where they're connected, where it's like, I don't know, you don't really know if it's the top people kind of controlling them or the bottom people are controlling them. So you don't really, it's a weird kind of thing where they're not just clones. They're doing the exact kind of thing and everything. But she explains that, and they kind of all separate. She tells Abraham to go take care of Gabe. And he drags Gabe out in a very scary way. Gabe is kind of crying. I mean, but he can't do anything. His leg's all fucked up, right?
No, he cannot.
And Abraham, he's strong. Which I thought they did this really well where I know the technology now, but it's like, they were all playing their doppelgangers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had to shoot one scene.
And they had doubles for it.
Yeah, and then they had to go back and shoot, but they're together so much and you never ever think it's a double or anything.
No, you don't.
I don't know if
the angles and everything, which that is something I did pay attention to.
Same. Whenever there's like twins, whenever there's two people playing one person.
Like the Parent Trap.
Exactly. Or what was the Social Network? The two twins. Yeah, the Social Network with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Where he's playing the Facebook guy.
Facebook guy, yeah.
The two twins, he steals the Facebook idea. They're the Boswin twins or whatever.
Oh, that was a clone?
He's not a clone, but he's played by the same guy.
Whatever, a twin? Yeah, by the same person.
Yeah, they're both playing by the same person, yeah.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. But whenever something like that, but this is the entire thing. It had to have been difficult. I mean, that always has to add an extra layer.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a new element. It's hard, but I mean, all the angles looked seamless.
Yeah.
As far as like, it didn't look choppy or unrealistic at all.
And all the characters felt like their own distinct character, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no.
They all had
Abraham
their own
and Gabe
personalities.
felt like completely two different people, although they were the exact same people. There was no like similarities at all. And she explains when she's explaining the whole thing that the daughter was raised or was born with like a bloodthirst or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was very angry.
Angry, yeah.
She was murdered, and you could see in her face. She's all fucked up. And the kid, Pluto, the boy's doppelganger, Jason's, he was obsessed with fire. He was born with an obsession with fire.
So obsessed, in fact, that he burned his own face.
Yes, yeah, and I can't imagine what else he's burned.
Yeah.
But so they kind of separate. Red tells the normal daughter just to run because she's a runner, right? That's kind of foreshadowing. And then her doppelganger, what was her name?
The doppelganger for the girl?
Yeah, Umbre.
Umbre.
She chases after her, but she gives her a big fucking head start. when they go out and then she starts running, but she's twice the runner the regular girl is. And that, again, that's the thing. Like, all these people, they're all like stronger and faster than their regular. You know why? It just felt like all the regular ones gotten lazy, while these ones were just been prepping forever. So they spread it, and then the boy Pluto goes and plays with Jason, and they go into the closet.
And his mom says, "Remember to do the trick."
Yeah, she whispers.
Remember to show him the toys.
Adelaide whispers to him right before, and they go in there, and he does the little ambulance trick, and they spread out, and then that's when we first see his face, right?
Yeah, he takes it off because they're mimicking each other.
Yeah, and that's again,
in the closet.
and in that scene, you kind of get the sense that the boy can kind of control the other one, kind of make him do things and whatnot. So, yeah, and it shows his face, and his face is all kinds of fucked up. It's burnt. Half of it is burnt because he's obsessed with fire. I guess he burnt it. And I like the part where the mom tells him not to burn down their new house or their new home or whatever. So they go in, and but Jason traps Pluto in the closet. And then Red goes and tries to help him, and then Adelaide.
And then that's when Adelaide breaks the
because
breaks
they tethered, which is used a lot in this movie, but they strap her to the coffee table, right?
Mm-hmm. They handcuff her.
Yeah, and she kind of tells her that why they're there, and she kind of tells them that they're gonna take their time killing him. Yeah, and she smashes her head into the coffee table. So they do that. She breaks out. She breaks free, and she finds Jason, right? And then they leave, and then it goes, and
well, she calls him because he's in the little cabinet where he hid before.
Yep. Yeah.
Right, where his sister was.
So they run out, and then we get back to Abraham and the dad. And Abraham's on the boat. He did want the boat.
Yep.
He's on the crawdaddy, and he's wrapped Gabe in plastic, and they're going, and the boat stops because the boat's a piece of shit, and Abraham's like hitting the boat. The dad wakes up, Gabe.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, gets out of the bag, hits a home run, clobbers Abraham.
He does.
Abraham falls off the boat. Gabe falls off the boat because the boat starts on its own because that's what the part of the boat.
But the rope was attached to Abraham's foot.
Yeah, the rope with the floaty on it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the water with Abraham somewhere.
And Abraham comes up almost ready to kill him. And then the boat starts up and takes him away.
Well, at first he's like swimming away because he's going to try to swim to shore because the boat takes off on its own, remember? Because the boat just takes off.
Right.
And then he swims to shore, but the boat leans left, remember he says in the beginning? So the boat's coming back around.
That's right.
Yeah, and Abraham's attached to the boat. Yeah. So he knows the boat's coming back for him. So he tries to get back on the boat, remember? Then Abraham comes up. He's got his shears. He's about to kill Gabe. Gabe fucking hits the motor. And Abraham gets sucked up in the motor and gets fucking
obliterated.
Gets just chewed up. And Gabe gets covered in Abraham. Big old mess. He goes back to the boat. Kids get on the boat. Right? Oh, we didn't stay the whole season, the whole part where she's getting chased down, running by
Umbre.
By Umbre, yeah. She's getting chased down. They go to a neighborhood, which I thought, why is she not knocking on doors or something? She's just running in the street. I'd immediately take off towards the woods.
Glad she didn't, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because
or the girl would have just caught up to her.
Remember, though, when she was running, they came across a neighbor, and then Umbre killed the neighbor.
Yeah.
Get off the top of my car. And he's like, what? He stabs her to death.
I think she stabbed his dick.
Yeah, she
might have cut his dick off.
That was rough.
Because remember the guy screaming?
Yeah, he was screaming in pain.
Like he didn't die. Yeah. But, so screaming. So she runs off. They all get on the crawdaddy. They're going to go to their neighbor's house. Tim Heidecker, Kitty, and what's his nuts?
Josh.
Yeah. And they're all kind of douches. They're kind of rich, kind of dicks, you know. They have 2 daughters that are horrible.
I would say so.
Very, very annoying. But, yeah, this family doesn't last long.
No, they don't. Because he's drinking in the chair, which was a really funny moment. She's like, I think I heard something outside. He's like, well, I'm sitting here.
Yeah, he's like,
She's like, go check.
I'm busy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm busy. He's in a robe and
He's been a
everything,
dick
just
about
hanging
it,
out. Yeah.
But this was kind of the big
Twist,
right?
one of the twists, yeah.
I mean, the twist that
I didn't see
no one, I mean, there's no way
No,
anyone
I didn't
could
see
have
it
predicted
coming.
this, right?
No.
They got their own fucking doppelgangers.
Yep.
And that immediately, did the thought go off in your head? Oh, everyone's got to have them.
Yeah, immediately I was like, okay, well, everyone's got to have them or this doesn't make any
That's
sense
what I thought.
at all.
But then immediately you think, okay, well, what the fuck is going on then if everyone has them?
Yep.
Like, it's... And you know it's somewhat coordinated because they're all going after their own twins, right?
Yes.
Their own doppelganger. So that family's quickly dispatched.
Yeah, they didn't last long.
Now, quick stab to the neck. A lot of blood. Elizabeth Moss, who, of course, you know, if you got Elizabeth Moss, you can't have her just die.
No.
You gotta milk her for everything you got.
Everything she's worth because she's that good.
Yeah, exactly. And she has a great death scene in this.
Yeah, gruesome too.
And again, it was a great soundtrack. Remember, because
It
they have the
was,
Alexa.
Fuck the police.
She
coming
said,
straight from the
"Alexa,
underground."
Alexa, call the police."
Yeah.
And of course, Alexa, you know, she can never hear when it's important. When it's important, she's never not. But they put on "Fuck the Police."
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's playing out through the entire thing, and Kitty's doppelganger, she cuts her throat, finishes her off. They're all dead now. And I really liked this family was really fucking freaky. With Kitty's doppelganger was really scary.
Mm-hmm.
But Tim Heidecker's doppelganger was really fucking, where he's making all kinds of weird fucking velociraptor screams.
Yeah.
He's jumping around. He puts the
Even-
robe on at one
Even
point.
the daughters too, because they were doing like backflips and
Yeah,
cartwheels
I
and
know,
stuff. They were
yeah.
super athletic.
Yeah. That seems to transfer over when you're
When you're a
When you're
doppelganger,
cloned.
yeah.
you get their athleticism like times 10. You're like a superhuman, but you're dumb as rocks.
I know. We should have just captured them and all had them compete in sports.
Yeah. Or just
They
like
can't backtalk the refs.
or have made them we'll get in. But I guess the whole thing was they were slaves, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, why not just literally enslave them and make, you know, them actually do stuff up in the above ground,
Uh-huh.
you know, like, or even make them do stuff in the below ground and like make them work factories. The whole thing was to get them to work, to get the people upstairs to work. So you got two kinds of, I mean, I guess you got two people working for you. But anyways, so they get on the boat, they go up to the family and they see that they all got murdered. Well, they don't know because the dad, Tim Heidecker, answers the door and she just thinks that it's him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very clearly not him because he can't talk. And she fucking brings down the fire poker
She does.
hard on his head. Doesn't faze him much. I don't think it broke skull.
It's got stuck in his head. though.
It did for a little
Stuck
bit.
in his head. Yeah.
For a little bit. And he had to take it out. Or she kind of had to wedge it out. So, so that happens. They, I love this scene when they all pull her in from the porch or whatever, when she first attacks him, and they all kind of grab her from outside of the porch and pull her in, all the hands. And then they separate, and Tim Heidecker's character goes back on another boat on the, what was his boat called? His yacht. It was the biatch.
The biatch.
Yeah. And he kind of tries to distract him to get him away from the kids or whatever. Right? Gabe does. He tries to say,
Yeah.
because I'm guessing he also wants to just fight him because they kind of have some animosity. And
would
he
say
knows,
so.
and he knows he can kill this one because they're not really him. But they go on the boat. Adelaide's taken up. She's captured again. She's tethered to the bed. But the kids are still down on the ground, and they come up, and they have to kill the twins. The two girls, right? The kids come in, Jason and the girl.
And Jason picks up the rock.
Yeah,
and then the girl picks up the golf club.
The putter.
Yep, the putter.
Yeah, and they go up, and she fucking... It
Knocks
scared the
her
shit
off
out of
the
me.
second
It scared the shit out of
floor.
me when that girl jumped out and screamed. But yeah, she clobbers that girl. She falls into the coffee table. And then she's attacked by another girl, and she clobbers this girl also. She beats her head in with the putter. And smushes her head. And they go and find the mom and Elizabeth Moss's doppelganger. She's really fucking weird. She's like looking in the mirror. She's cutting her own face. She's doing all kinds of weird shit. And she catches the putter midair when the girl tries to hit her with it. Which is it's an impressive catch.
It's pretty good.
The
throws, agility.
She throws the girl down. Throws the girl hard. She's about to kill the girl. The little girl or the daughter.
Right.
Why Adelaide is just watching. She's kind of, the whole thing is she's kind of making her watch. And but Jason comes up clutch. Hits Elizabeth Moss in the head with the rock, right? Kills her. Let me tell you, these kids, they're not afraid to take a life.
They're not.
They're not even
No hesitation
They're not
at
even
all.
they're not even thinking twice about
No,
it.
they're
They're
not.
killing people left and right,
They
which I
were.
like. In this kind of situation, you got to. You can't be sticking around crying for these fucking twins.
No.
But yeah, and Gabe kills Tim. I like the part where he tries to shoot the flare gun or whatever,
Right at him.
and it's the worst flare gun ever. Yeah.
Not a good move.
And they kind of tussle, and he eventually kills him off camera. It doesn't show that murder or that kill, right?
No, it
When
doesn't.
Gabe, I think it's
No.
off camera. It kind of just shows them like tussling. But so they get out. They can't use the boat anymore, I'm guessing, because it's a fucking bloodbath or something.
And it's on fire, essentially.
The noob. Oh yeah, because he shot the flare. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. I did not connect that. I was just thinking they couldn't use the boat because there was, I guess, guts in there.
Oh, no.
Because
no,
the whole
it
time I'm
was
like,
on
why not just get
fire.
back in the boat? Oh yeah. Because you could think you could just go in the boat and just like go in the middle of the bay and wait till things cool over.
Yeah. That's
Unless they start
many
swimming out
people.
after you, then you're fucked. But
not good.
so they're gonna take their car, their new Land Rover, and they're kind of happy about that they get to drive the new Land Rover. Adelaide goes back in the house to get the keys. The fucking one of the twins is gone.
From the coffee table.
Well, she took the hardest hit, I thought.
She did. She flipped over. She got the club right to the face, flipped over the second story.
Did a full fucking
Yeah.
somersault, hit the coffee table, got glass in her back.
Not good.
I really like that part where, because she comes in, gets the keys, the twin jumps on her. They do a little fighting thing,
Mm-hmm.
and she's on top of her, but you see the fucking glass sticking out of her
Out
back.
of her- yeah.
Big shards of glass. She kills, but this is another scene where we see Adelaide. She kills the girl, but she's kind of like in a weird animalistic way, right? She's like grunting heavy because remember the sun comes in, and the sun's
And he knew, looking at her, he was like, that was not a normal kill.
immediately, yeah, and he immediately knows. He's like, okay, this does not seem like my mom.
Yeah.
So they get the car. The girls wants to drive. We forgot to talk about that earlier. She's trying to drive the entire time. Yeah.
Hurt. Yeah.
She drives, and who's out in front of the car?
Umbre.
That cold bitch. Yeah. In a cool Terminator-esque scene.
Very.
She floors the Land Rover. Doesn't hit. Umbre does some fucking gymnastic shit.
Some Spider-Man
Climbs
shit,
the
dude.
car.
Yep.
Jumps on top. Scissors
Through the sunroof.
through the sunroof. She's still fucking hanging on like a fish.
Yeah.
They're driving all over the place. She slams the brakes. Still hanging on. So now she's on the front of the car.
Mhm.
Stabs the window again.
And that's when she goes super fast.
That's when she's doing like 180. She's going Mach 10. She does fast. Slams on the brakes. Umbre flies out of the car. Like, I'm not kidding. She was going 30 feet,
yeah.
right? into the forest where you don't even see her. But I love this scene when the mom hops out immediately, because what I figure she's thinking is, you gotta fucking, it's like a zombie. You gotta kill him, right?
Kill it.
Otherwise, they're just gonna keep coming and coming and coming. So the mom immediately runs out of the car with her fire poker, runs out, finds Umbre. Umbre's not looking too good.
She's not looking. She look a little mangled, I would say.
I really like this.
Pretzel.
I really like this scene how it was shot, where she's like midway up the tree, right? And at first we only see she's kind of hanging down. You don't really see how bad it is. No. You assume it can't be good.
No.
But she's still, when she's still fucking grabbing at the mom, still trying to kill her. Even though we find out that she's pretzeled. She's completely like bent in half. I'm not even sure if the legs are connected to the body still.
I don't think so.
Their foot was,
like
right here.
Bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
The foot was real close to the head. And luckily, Abigail, she doesn't have to kill this one.
No, she dies on her own.
Yeah.
Of natural causes.
If a car running you into a tree at 180 miles an hour is natural, then yeah, it was pretty fucking natural.
Okay.
So
I'll be back in like 45. I gotta piss, dude.
45?
Bad. 45 seconds.
Oh yeah,
just keep with the commentary.
Sure. So they go out. They're trying to escape. They go back to the beach. They find that their car is completely destroyed. And they don't know what's going on. They see little Pluto. He's out in front of the car. He was obviously the one that burnt and blew up the car. He's out there. He's walking towards their Land Rover. They get out. Abigail gets out because she's got some kind of connection to Pluto. And I don't know if she wants to kill him or kind of adopt him, maybe. So she gets out. She goes towards him, and Jason immediately has this thinking that it's a trap. Okay, I was just rambling on.
About.
So they get to the beach, right? The car's all blown up. They're trying to escape because she wants to go to Mexico. Smart.
And then Pluto set the trap.
Because their car's down there. Like, they fucking drove the car to the beach and blew it up. And Abigail, she kind of gets out of the car to a part where I don't know what do you think, she was just going to go kill him, or she was kind of felt bad for him? Because it's your son, right?
Right, yeah.
It's definitely what you're supposed to, because she gets up and she slowly walks to him, and she doesn't immediately just start teeing off on him.
No. But I think she would have killed him.
Yeah. Well, he would have to have. I mean, I don't think he would have.
But Jason was smart.
Well, Jason immediately knows, right?
But he also knows that they mimic him.
Yes.
And that's why he was walking backwards too, because then that would force.
Well, exactly. To walk backwards. Where he's got, again, because they're tethered, they got some kind of connection. Yeah. And Jason knows as soon as he sees Pluto, he knows it's a trap, right? He's the one that calls it.
With the oil.
Yeah.
Or with the gas, whatever.
Because we get out and we see that the gas, there's a trail of gas going to their car, and they're going to blow up the car.
Yep.
And but Jason tells them all to get out. They get out. Jason remembers that they can be controlled or somehow. It's really interesting. It's kind of odd. But Jason kind of goes and walks back, and Pluto starts mimicking him, and Pluto and you got to assume this is how Pluto wanted to go out.
Of course.
Flames.
He's a pyromaniac. Yes.
But and it's a great fucking scene when he's going in the fire. It looks like he's a kid.
Great.
It looks like it's a kid in the fire,
looks
man.
Really good.
I don't know if they got some kind of dwarf or something to play that kid, or
kid might have done it himself.
But he's engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
And it shows him burn up, and because Jason had to walk back like 30 feet. Mm-hmm. And I really liked Adelaide, or not Red, Adelaide's twin, she was behind him the whole time.
Ready to take him.
She was crouched down in the truck.
Behind that, yeah.
Because the truck was red, and because the window was blacked out, so you couldn't see her at all. So it was,
Right.
it was
It's
the perfect grab. If you're a kidnapper, it's textbook.
Textbook kidnapping right there.
I mean, if you want
Textbook
if
101.
you want to base it off, if you want to go, that's the gold standard of kidnapping. You're in and out.
No one sees you. You're good.
So, and of course, in a very dad move, the dad is never aware of what's going on with the kids.
Never.
And her dad, the dad in the 80s, this dad,
It
dads
is a
in real life,
generational thing. Dads just
they are
inherently
so
don't know.
unaware of what is happening in anyone else's lives.
And I will be the same way when I am. a
Oh,
father.
absolutely. It's the
Mason
standard.
I don't know where he's at. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Just running around here.
My dad, he was, I don't even think he was ever aware of how old I was.
It's like, what are you turning 13? Dad, I just turned 18.
Dad, I'm
Whatever.
28.
28. Well, happy birthday,
Grew
son.
up so
What do you want?
See you in another year.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, so she grabs Jason. Adelaide starts freaking out.
Right.
Because she loves this kid, obviously. They start wandering around, but Adelaide, she knows where he's at, right? She immediately, she leaves Gabe. She runs to the funhouse. She knows it's there.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that's where the shit is going down. She goes in there. I like the scene where the owl pops out again and
Yep.
she just destroys it. I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Nope, not
Once was
no
enough.
one's got time for
We're
that
good.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you know that fucking owl was seared into her memory.
Oh,
right.
for sure.
So
She didn't even seem to hesitate either. She just hit it without hesitation.
no, you can't. No. You got to go for it. So so she clobbers that thing. She
But
finds
was it seared into her?
I know exactly. That's exactly what I was just thinking. How did she know that thing was going to pop out? She never saw it.
Maybe she didn't though. Maybe that is what the difference between her and Red was.
Well, I don't know because, of course, she could have seen it. I mean, she had to walk out of there,
Mhm.
right? I mean, she
Yeah.
had to go out of there. So
That's true.
So she could have definitely, that thing would most likely would have popped out again, right? But, yeah, so she's walking down there. She finds a door with a rabbit on it, which, of course, makes you think that this whole funhouse thing was built for someone to find, right? They're putting hints on the doors. There's a rabbit on the door. She opens the door. A rabbit comes out.
Mm-hmm.
She starts walking down, and she walks down quite a ways.
Yeah, dude. There were stairs. There was an escalator. It went
There were
down
stairs. There was a
far.
couple doors she went through where it was like, it was the sense where like, oh, someone would get lost. Like this thing could be there the entire time, and someone wouldn't know
No.
because it's in such a crazy. But yeah, so she goes down, and there's an escalator, which is visually, it's stunning. It's awesome, but again, it adds another creepy factor to it. An escalator that's only going down.
Right. None that go up.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's weird to me. But so she goes down and she sees, it's kind of the first time we're seeing the underground, right? It's almost looks like a hospital.
It does.
There's some classrooms, everything's like sterile, and the benches are like made out of rock. I mean, they look like they're that hard, like granite.
Mhm.
Everything looks very uncomfortable and cold. And she finds Red in a classroom, and she's like making
Paper mache.
and shit. But and it's just two little cutouts of two doppelgangers, of two twins holding hands. And Adelaide's always, she's screaming about Jason, and Red doesn't give her anything. And she kind of tells her, they talk more and whatnot. And this is, at this point, she says, why couldn't we both, or why couldn't you take us both? That's where she says it, right? She says, why couldn't we both go?
Right.
Which is
Good moment.
Yeah, which is a good moment. They start fighting, and I love this scene when they start fighting, and she's dancing around, and she knows every movement and everything, because they're obviously the same people. They start fighting, the music starts playing, that same song. It might have even been 5 on it. I'm not sure. But,
Part of it, I think, was.
I think so. And yeah, they start going at it, but she can't. And Oh, and this is the scene. This is the classroom scene where she talks about dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Where she talks about how when she was dancing up in the real world, she was dancing below.
Below.
And how she danced, and this was the first thing that these tethered people like ever did, like creativity wise, because remember they look at her like a god.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there's even a scene where like they all have her hands on her and everything, and she even talks about how she was kind of like the one where she was the only one that could talk too. But yeah. So and then they dance, they kind of dance fight. She's doing ballet, she can't hit her and whatnot. They end up she ends up getting the shit stabbed out of her. Adelaide does, right? She's slicing and dicing. She's stabbing her and
letting out some horrific screams too.
Yes. It's a great scene.
Yeah.
We don't get in it, but it's a great it's crazy that it's the same people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think it's two different completely people, but it's the same exact person fighting themselves. But yeah, that's a trip. But so they go in there, and finally she sees a weak moment, though, and she stabs Red.
Yeah.
Right through the chest. It's a tough spot to be stabbed. And it's
fatal.
With 99% of the times. But so she goes down, and she's sad or whatever, and she's crying, and they talk, and Adelaide kind of chokes her out because Adelaide's still tethered. She gives her the old fucking choke, breaks her neck.
Yep.
Finds Jason, and then the whole family gets back together. They go back in an ambulance. The ambulance's number is 1111 on the front of the head, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, and they before that we saw the fucking Hands Across America
And all the people holding hands.
Yeah, because and they also watched TV earlier and on the TV they're talking about how this attack was kind of coordinated.
They watched that at Kitty's house.
Yep. Yeah. Because Jason says, because he's the first one. He says he's like, so how many people have twins? And that's when it finally connects.
Yeah.
Oh shit, everyone's got twins. And they go, and the footage is of people getting attacked, right, getting stabbed, and all the tethered are lining up, and you kind of, at least at first when I saw it, I'm like, I didn't immediately connect the Hands Across America thing. But then you keep seeing it and whatever, and then you realize that the homeless guy on the beach that he saw, he was just first in line.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why he was down.
Yeah.
It made it look like it was some biblical thing that he was there like God, but he was just there ready to get his hand held.
One.
Which is it's never fun being the first person at the Hands Across America.
No.
You
Then you just look like
standing
a
out in the
weirdo.
middle of a field waiting for someone to grab your hand. But that's kind of the end, right?
Kind of.
Okay, what happens after that?
We get the look from Jason, who looks over to his mom.
Because they're in the ambulance, they're going off to Mexico or whatever.
And he kind of gives her the look that he knows.
But even when she gets, because after she kills Red, she finds him, right? And you immediately get the sense that he's like, this is not my mom, right? Because remember when she grabs him, she's like, look, Jason, look. And she's like moving her hair out of her face. And he still is like, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. You might have just killed my mom. But all right. I'll take your word for it. Nothing I can do now.
But it is his mom.
It is his mom, yeah.
It is his mom, which is...
But is it... It's not her. I mean, yes,
it is her.
It's her, but...
So by all means, it's 100%...
Adelaide, it's Red.
Yeah.
They're just opposite.
Well, that's the big twist, right?
Yeah.
We see that when she was a kid, she was in the fucking funhouse, and the twin turned around where it went black. It finally shows she got choked out.
Yeah.
And that's the part...
She dragged her down.
And that's the part where I thought she destroyed her voice doing that. She choked her so hard that her voice, and that's again why I thought she was all choked up and everything. For that, I thought that little girl, even, I don't know if she knew or she was just doing so hard, but she knew that that other one should not be able to talk, right?
Yeah.
So she grabs her, chokes her, knocks her out, drags her ass down because you gotta switch places.
You have to.
And this is the whole thing where it's like, that fucking this had to happen if they never switch places, where it's the bad one is the good one,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh. It's kind of a weird dichotomy. You don't know which one you're rooting for necessarily.
Yeah.
At
So
the end.
they switch places. So that little girl grew up the entire time in this horrible place, while the tethered one,
Yeah,
the
the
real evil
doppelganger.
one, she grew, but it showed that they're not really evil. If you bring them out and you treat them like human, they're literally
Just
humans.
people. Yeah.
They're just people.
Mhm.
They're normal in fucking every way.
Well, which goes back to symbolism with like the lower class and the middle
Exactly.
class and stuff like that.
Exactly. And that's where
It's
it
like
all
we treat people like subhumans.
that's exactly where it all tied in. And it's the symbolism with exactly where it's like, they were, we treated them like monsters or whatever. And the whole time you're thinking, oh, they're not really us or whatever. And they're just born evil or whatever and whatnot. But really, they're just people. And they weren't born to hate. They were raised that way.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Crazy mind trip. And so we see that they were switched, and the bad girl who ended up being Adelaide grew up. She didn't have a voice because she never talked, obviously.
Developed one.
Yeah, but again, that just shows you that all the people can talk. She's not really the only one that can't talk. But so it shows them, and so they could all talk the entire time. They're just never given the opportunity to.
Mhm.
So in fact, she's not really the only one that can talk, because the one that went down is the original one, so she could always talk, and all the tethered can talk because she eventually relearned how to talk when she came up. So again, it's like that, where like we think they're subhuman and everything, but they're just, you literally put a poor person in a rich person's class, they're gonna be exactly the same people.
Exactly.
But
Well, we're all social beings too. We are
yeah.
where we're put at.
So and again, and that's the whole reason that I brought it up was with them being middle class, and not. And thinking that they had such a bad life or whatever because they didn't have the nicest boat or whatever. And it's kind of the whole thing where there's always a class below you, where there's always someone that
Right.
has it just so
Worse than
much
you.
worse
It's
than
like
you.
that famous picture where one guy sitting riding a bike. He's like, "Oh, I wish I had that car," and then it's, "Oh, I wish I had that car,"
exactly,
and then
yeah.
it was like, "I wish I had this helicopter," and then it goes back to the guy who's in the wheelchair, and he's like, "I just wish I could walk."
Yeah.
So it's like,
So they're going in the ambulance, and Jason knows. And even to me, what's your take on this? Adelaide, that's when she first remembered. Or do you think she knew the entire time?
no, she knew the entire time.
I could see it going either way. I could see her blocking.
Hold on, do you mean the entire time as if like she knew, like when she said she was coming after her, that something was coming after her?
Yeah, but she didn't know. Do you think she remembered that she was the bad girl? You think she remembered her entire life that she was originally in this place? See, I think
that's a tough one. I don't know.
I think she
I don't know
blocked it
about
out the whole time, and it took. Well, obviously she knew. Where in the back of her head, she obviously knew something was coming, right?
Yes.
And she never lost that feeling.
No.
But I really do. I kind of think that she blocked it out the entire time, and she didn't. She knew something was coming, but it took her till the very end to realize, oh shit, I'm the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm the one in the wrong. So I could see it how she knew. She knew the entire time, and she knew she was living this fake life and whatnot, and that eventually. But in my thinking, if she knew that time, I think she wouldn't even go near the beach, right? She would take a really strong stance.
Good point.
Right? I mean, she wouldn't. I would think she would move away even.
Yeah.
Not
Even
live
to
in
a
the same
different
state.
country.
Yeah, because you wouldn't risk her coming back.
Yeah, so maybe she didn't. Maybe it was that PTSD kind of thing.
That's what I'm thinking. She
Yeah.
blocked it out.
Suppressed
Yeah.
it.
Eventually, because it's such a horrible memory. I mean, you don't want to remember any of that
No.
shit. Well, Mason, that is us.
That is us.
That's us.
That's us.
So what? Oh, I will tell you the Goonies thing. I didn't bring it up during.
Yeah, thanks.
So I can't remember the exact quote, but she Red quotes Goonies almost in the start of the movie.
She read what?
Red, the doppelganger,
Yeah.
right when they first meet, when she goes to the house, she quotes Goonies, the movie. She says a Goonie quote about, I don't know.
Goonies never die?
No, it's nothing like that. But it's something about her being a person also.
Oh, okay.
But she would have never have seen Goonies, right? Unless she was the real girl. Do you get what I'm saying?
No. Say that again. You're confusing me.
Yeah, focus in on me.
Okay.
So Red at the or when she first breaks in the house and they're sitting by the fireplace explaining the whole story.
Right.
Adelaide, she says, "Who are you?" Remember, she says, "We're Americans." Remember, she says that, and then she says a Goonie quote. But if she was the girl that was born underground the entire life, she would have never seen the Goonies.
That's true.
So she would have never been able to quote. So that immediately tells you that they switched.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's the big... Yeah. So if you're a fanatic Goonies fan...
You should have picked that up.
I mean, no one would have picked it up, but you would have known that that's the only way she would have known, because they don't watch movies down there, I'm guessing.
No, heck no, they don't got TV. Damn, they don't have it. They don't have the quote on the internet. That sucks.
Yeah, I can't. I could look it up again, but I cannot remember what the quote was. It's something that Sloth says, I'm almost positive. Well, Mason, what's your review on what do you think about it? Closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. I really actually enjoyed every element of this movie. I thought it was really good. I thought the performances were one of my favorite parts about the movie. I thought the acting was incredible. The storytelling and the way that he took an idea from just a simplistic thing from the 1980s and made it into a horror film like this is actually something really cool. That he's got a brilliant mind. He really does. This Jordan Peele.
This Jordan Peele kid.
This Jordan Peele fellow. No, this was a really good movie, man. I gave it an A.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was great.
Yeah, like you said,
2 for 2.
it's super original. And that's pretty rare, I think, to come by nowadays, especially with big films, you know. We get a lot of superhero films where they're all good, but they're all, you know, kind of the same exact thing. Yeah. So it's really nice when you have a completely original idea that's super interesting and still kept you guessing the entire thing. And like you said, the performances were amazing. The writing is amazing. But, yeah, I love this movie. I thought it was as good as Get Out, and I fucking love Get Out, and I gave it an A, too. A strong A.
A strong A?
A strong A. Wow. Not an A minus.
Not an A minus.
Not an A minus.
Strong A.
Guess what this movie has on IMDb?
Probably a 6.7 like everything, or 7.1 like everything else?
7.5.
Whoa. It's above and beyond.
Solid C.
A solid C. Yeah. Well, you're not going to get any higher than that.
Not on IMDb.
Not on IMDb.
God
it doesn't
knows.
Matter.
Who knows what you got to do?
No.
Well, all right.
Alrighty. Follow us on YouTube, guys. Have you seen it? Type in Have You Seen It podcast channels. You'll find the Angry Popcorn Man. We're the second one down. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Have You Seen It? Seen It podcast. Instagram. Have You Seen It? And that, I think, does it.
Yeah. What are we reviewing next?
Dumbo next
Dumbo.
week.
Look forward to that. That
Dumbo.
big floppy-eared son of a bitch. We'll be
taking him Tim Burton's Dumbo. We'll see how that goes.
Without Johnny Depp.
Without Johnny Depp, yes.
There's no Johnny Depp.
No Johnny Depp. No Edward Scissorhands here.
Maybe he played Dumbo. Yeah, they love each other. They had to get in there some way.